Welcome into the Brooks Bench with your host, Brooke, aka Shiggy, and my co-host, Megan.
What's up?
Hopefully, Brooke is back later in the week. I know she's finishing up school, so hopefully she's back on our Thursday or Friday episode. Fingers crossed. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, follow us on all social media at the Brooks Bench, and join our Discord, link in the description. Also new this week, I hope you didn't skip this part. Join our March Madness bracket group. We're doing it again to see who has the best bracket. I know we had a good turnout last year, so the link will be in the description of this video to join. So hope you guys join and have some fun. So we are going over the Hoophall Award predictions today. So let's get into it. So obviously, if you guys don't know what the Hoop Hall Awards are, it's basically like the Hall of Fame. They have these awards, and they're called the Naismith Starting Five. It's presented by the WBCA convention to players at each of the five traditional basketball positions. These awards parallel a previously existing, wow, words are hard, set of men's basketball positional awards, also presented by the Hall. So they are the Nancy Lieberman Point Guard Award and Meyers Drysdale Shooting Guard Award, Cheryl Miller Small Forward Award, Katrina McClain Power Forward Award, and then the Lia Leslie Center Award. So that's what we'll be going over. I know the Naismith, not the Naismith. I know that they are, no, it is the Naismith. Like the Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year. Those aren't going to be announced till later in March. Or I think even April, like April 1st, something like that. So we'll
Mhm.
also have a prediction for those, but I know these are down to the finalists. So I wanted to get our predictions out before they announce them. So the selection process that they go through, the winner for each of the starting five awards is determined by a selection committee consisting of Hall of Famers, WBCA coaching members, and media, and headed by the award's namesake. Fan voting through the Hall's website is also incorporated into the selection process, and I'm pretty sure it went live either today or yesterday. So go vote. Um, We'll start off at the top, Megan. We'll start with a Nancy Lieberman Award. Obviously, it's given to the nation's top collegiate point guard in women's D1 basketball. We have the top five finalists. We have Georgia Amore, Olivia Miles, Rory Harmon, Kiki Rice, and Paige Beckers. Talented class. We're starting off hard. In my opinion, I think this is one of the harder ones to decide. Decorated class. And when I was doing the stats, all the notes for this, I didn't realize, like, really, we go off vibes. I think everyone,
Mhm.
when they're watching the game, you go off the vibes of the season of how you perceive someone's doing. And then you get down to the stats, and like, oh, they're actually really doing well, or it's like, oh, they're not actually doing as well as I thought they were, right?
Mhm.
Um, but we'll start off at the top with Georgia Amore. She averaged 19 points a game, 2.2 rebounds, 6.9 assists, and was shooting 42 percent from the field. She helped Kentucky to a 22-7 overall record, 11-5 in the SEC. She was the SEC Newcomer of the Year. She actually improved from last year. And this is what I want to point out because when she made the transfer from the ACC to the SEC, people are like, well, this is where she's going to get tested because a lot of people, say the SEC is the toughest conference the toughest
Yeah.
conference, period. And Georgia Amore showed out in the SEC play, right?
Mhm.
So she improved her stats from 18 points, 6 assists, and she shot 41% last year. She is ranked number three in assists per game in all of NCAA. She's ranked number four in points in the SEC and number one in assists in the SEC. Um, so good overall, in my opinion. I also want to point out Paige Beckers, obviously another leading candidate. 18.8 points per game, four rebounds, 4.9 assists, shooting 53% from the field. Obviously helped UConn to a 30-3 record, 18-0 in the Big East. Big East regular season champs, tournament champs, and Big East Player of the Year. Um, in my opinion, when I was looking at all the stats, it comes down to those two for me. I don't know if there's any of the other three you want to highlight, but I wanted to highlight those two first and then kind of get your opinion.
Um, yeah, it's these are gonna be tough, guys.
They're gonna be tough.
Um, Lord. I don't even know where to begin.
I mean, when you're
I
looking
mean,
at these, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, every one of the nominees, I have great things to say about each and every one of them, because in their own right, they've overcome, like, I mean, Olivia Miles overcame an ACL injury and still was able to put up numbers like this.
Right.
It's just out of your mind. Like, that's just wild. Even Roy Harmon still came back. I feel like she's not all the way to where she was before she got injured.
Yeah.
Unlike Olivia Miles, I feel like Olivia Miles come back like she has to skip the beat. Right. Roy, I think, is still working it out. But shout out to both of them. And then in their own right, it's like I want to, give them their flowers for just that alone, right?
Yeah.
But I would take them out the equation because I just don't think that they necessarily can compete with how Georgia Moore and Paige Bueckers played. Kiki, like you said earlier about going off vibes, I feel like I'm still looking at Kiki's play like I need more from her. And so because of that, and that, I mean, it's just my opinion, but because of that, I also wouldn't even consider her, which brings me just to Paige and Georgia Moore. And I mean, this is where I'm torn.
I know.
Yeah.
You can make an argument for both, and I wouldn't be surprised if either win. This one's hard, and I know we're gonna get a lot of slack if we don't pick Paige Bueckers. Let's be for real.
Okay, so let's talk this out, right?
All right,
let's play devil's advocate. We got to do it to ourselves because the chat's gonna eat us up anyway. So, all right, with Paige, because we already took heat from yesterday talking about how UConn as a whole, how they're in the Big East. They're, the strength of schedule, how competitive is the Big East, so on and so on. So that being said, does that trickle down to you have to then say kind of the same thing about Paige Bueckers and her stats? She's playing against an easier conference, so she's kind of expected to put up numbers, right? People could say, I mean, I know in the beginning, like pre-conference, they do play some tough teams. They play South Carolina and things like that. I get that. And she's still able to put up those Paige Bueckers numbers, but her overall average, her percentage, things of that nature, all her accolades as far as being the Big East Player of the Year, UConn being regular season champs, so on, so on. Yeah, it's like, can that really be put into the equation because of just how easy the conference is, right? And on that same note, their conference is so easy, but yet Paige is actually not leading any stat category amongst all conferences. No, I mean, when you put all conferences together, she's not leading, right?
Got you.
So she's probably leading in the Big East. If you look at just the Big East, that's one thing, right? But I'm taking that into consideration, right? So everyone says Big East sucks. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah.
So you would expect that Paige would kill it in the Big East, which then when you look at her stats compared to other people's stats in other conferences, you would think that because she kind of has it easy, that she should be leading in some stat category, right? Yeah. She is not.
Okay. I get you. You're talking about in all of NCAA.
All of Division I, NCAA, women's basketball, no matter the conference, she is not leading in any of the major stat categories as far as points, assists, 3-pointers made, rebounds, blocks, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So taking that into consideration is the only reason I would be leaning towards Georgia Moore, because you look at her stats, the fact that, one, she put up more points. She had way more assists, and she was still able to have a good field goal percentage. I mean, 42. Yeah. Paige was shooting 53, but then again, you say, okay, easy conference. The defense isn't as difficult. But on Georgia Moore's side, she's in the SEC, which opinion based is considered to be the hardest conference, and was able to still put up those numbers and get her team to where they got to. And if we look even further, you could also go to say that Georgia Moore, I mean, she is their team. I mean, Strack started to step up. They towards the end there, they have some players stepping up. But, I mean, Georgia Moore, if they win games, when they're winning their games, it's because Georgia Moore is really involved. UConn, I mean, AZ's buds back. They just, they have a better starting five, in my opinion. Yeah. Sarah Strong is having a great year.
Yeah.
So people can look at that as like Paige didn't have to do what she did, but she was still able to put up numbers. But Georgia Moore, they had no choice to get Kentucky to 22-7. She had to ball out every game, and she was able to do that on a brand new team. Yes, the coach was the same. Yes, there's a couple players that transferred over. But it's still a new team. So I know I just said a lot.
Yeah.
But that's how my mind is going. It's like trying to calculate all of these different factors and like what makes the most sense. And it's hard, but I feel like through all of that mess that I just said, I feel like I'm leaning Georgia more.
Yeah. This one is really the toughest to me because I've looked at it and I've debated it with myself, and it's kind of like it's always the narrative of the Big East, right? We always say that. And it's like Paige Bueckers obviously killed it, 18 points. I did look it up. She is the number 3 in the Big East for points scored. And what was the other stat you said?
No, I wasn't looking at just the Big East. I was.
Oh. Well, I'm just saying in the Big East, she's number 3.
I figured she would lead in the Big East, but if you look at the full if you put all the conferences together to see who really was leader, like Georgia Moore, she's a leader in assists, top 3 in all the conferences. I feel like that's a huge deal. Like,
yeah, I feel you.
Okay, that's just I just had to take that into consideration. I was just finding things that I could take into consideration if you're looking at like the top 5 of every category in the whole conference.
Gotcha. Okay. So I mean, and I think I do have to lean Georgia Amoore as well, just because it's kind of like a storyline as well. You go from the ACC to the SEC, and people doubted her that she wasn't going to thrive with Kentucky and she was going to struggle in the SEC and this was going to be a test. Kind of the same narrative they gave Haley Van Lith, right? And then Haley Van Lith did struggle in the SEC. So her proving that point, like, no, like, I'm ready. Like, I can do this. And it's not just the scoring. It's the assists, getting her teammates open. And, she probably would have a lot more assists if they would finish. I'm just saying, okay? So, I mean, I love Paige Bueckers. Don't get me wrong.
Me too.
And it's like, this is hard.
You got her jersey right behind you.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I do. But it's like, and Paige was efficient. The thing that's holding me back with Georgia Amoore is the lack of efficiency, but it's because she has to carry so much weight for the team.
Exactly.
She has to
and
take
that's
those shots.
I was taking in consideration on that.
Yeah. But. So long story short, I think we are going to, I think I would have to agree with you that I would side with Georgia Amoore on this, but I would not be surprised if Paige Bueckers wins this award. I think it's between the two, though.
I think any of the two. I mean, unfortunately, if Olivia, Roy, or Kiki got it, I would be like, what? I would be a little shocked. But if it's Paige or Georgia, I wouldn't be.
And I don't want to like discount Olivia Miles' season because she just came back from injury, and I feel like she had a phenomenal season. Her numbers improved from pre-ACL tear, right? So I mean, what she did was really good, and she led Duke to a winning season, all that too. So I don't want to discount hers, but I don't know. I think Georgia Amoore really showed out, had a phenomenal season. Either way, we're going to get hate for it. So let's move on because we got 4 more awards to talk about.
The next one, I think this one is the hardest one in
Oh my
opinion.
God, I peeked at it. Yeah, no, okay. So the Meyers Drysdale Award, an award presented annually to the best women's basketball shooting guard in the NCAA D1. So shooting guard, yeah, this one's gonna be harder. We spent so much time on the first one. This one, whoo. So we have Tanai Latson, Flau'jae Johnson, Hannah Hidalgo, Juju Watkins, and Michaela Blakes. Yeah, this one's gonna be hard. Obviously, let's just go in alphabetical order. I'm just gonna say the averages, and if you want to use the rest of the stats I have on here for your argument, go ahead. So we had Tanaya Latson with 24.9 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4.7 assists on 45% field goal percentage. Flau'jae Johnson, 18.9 points, 5.8 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 46% from the field. Hannah Hidalgo, 24.2 2 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 46.6 field goal percentage. Juju Watkins, 24.6 points, 6.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 42.6% from the field. And then lastly, Michaela Blakes, 23.2%. Not percent, 23 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 45% from the field. Now, with all that said, let me hear it. What are you thinking?
Okay, so just like the first one, we gotta be able to knock out some people and only argue like two because
this is hard.
All right,
I think we can knock out Flau'jae just because of the injury and
yeah. And LSU struggled because of injuries and down the stretch. Okay. Boom. Done.
One. Now these four, I don't know. Good luck.
So hear me out on Tanaya Latson and Michaela Blakes. First off, give Michaela Blakes her flowers. This girl's a freshman and she was not talked about enough. She was killing it. I honestly, I know we talked about her a little bit. I caught like maybe 1 or 2 games this year, but like I didn't realize how consistent she was popping off this year until the conference tournament. So yeah, shout out to her because I watched her in the conference tournament and she was cooking. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in a previous video. But anyways, the reason I would have to knock them out is just because I know how voters vote and they never give it to people where their team did not also benefit. So if you're a killer player and you're dominating, that's just how it goes, man. We've seen it year to year to year to year. And so I'm just not going to argue for someone that I know like doesn't have a chance just because their team just didn't pull out a better record than the other people that are in the talks. It's going to be
talked about. Yeah,
exactly. So that is the only reason that I would say it's easy to knock both of them out, regardless of how good of seasons they had, how good scoring they did, all of that. Yeah. So then that brings us down to Hannah Hidalgo and Juju Watkins.
And Tanai Latson. You took out Tanai Latson?
No, yeah, because of her schedule. Because they weren't able to really win anything. They were 23-8. I just feel like because her team wasn't able to really win, they're gonna discount her. And they've done it. Tanaya Latson, she improved her points and her shooting percentage, but like she's been a dog and a scorer for like her whole time in college so far. And it's like, she's a junior now. She wasn't able to get her flowers as a freshman or sophomore. And it's not like her stats have drastically changed. It's all because her team is they just don't win enough for people to talk about her. Yeah. And it's like the girl from Syracuse. Killer scorer. What was that? What was her name? She didn't really make it in the W. She got drafted. I
can't think of her name off the top of my head right now.
And that's the thing because no one really was talking about her because her team just wasn't doing great, like wasn't doing amazing. So, they don't talk about her. But that's, so unfortunately, I just don't think we can consider her.
I will say, though, if she won the ACC Player of the Year, I think she would have been more considered for this because Hannah Hidalgo beat her out for ACC Player of the Year. I think I have to agree with you.
Yeah, and just look at how they probably came to that conclusion because their stats were, exactly. She was killing it, leading scorer, was putting up numbers, buckets, everything, but didn't have anything else backing her up. But Tenaya lots like the fact that she didn't get Player of the Year, it just goes to show because their stats are almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost identical. And so
Mm-hmm.
the only other factor it comes down is how the team did. Even though
Yep.
this is an individual award,
Yep.
I mean it's how
It's
else do
always how it
you
is. It's in the
yeah.
W too. It's whoever best player, best team. We hate
Every
it,
sport.
but that's what it comes down to. Like Sanaya Latson had a great season. She leads the NCAA in points per game. She's on one of the high. She's on the second leading scoring offense in the NCAA. It just didn't really translate. They did well in the ACC, 13-5.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hannah Hidalgo did beat her out, but I mean, Hannah Hidalgo plays both sides of the floor. She's a great
Mm-hmm.
defender. Not saying Sanaya Latson's bad defending. I'm just saying we all know Hannah
But that
Hidalgo's body of work. So,
yeah. And that is another factor.
yeah,
If you're just all offense and no defense,
yeah,
but usually if you're all offense and you're all defense, it translates to wins. And
mm-hmm,
it did in Hannah Hidalgo's
yeah,
case because look at how they started the season. They were killing it.
yep,
And that's why I'm torn because in the beginning of the season, before we were maybe halfway through, I would have told you Hannah Hidalgo is like
I know,
she's running away with the award.
yeah,
But towards the end, it's like they fell off, and Juju was, you
yeah,
know what I mean, was able
yeah,
to catch
I
up, in
agree.
my opinion.
I
And
agree
so
with
that's
that.
what makes it really, really hard. And these are both players that I would say are crazy great offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
So this one is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I agree with you. Hannah Hidalgo, so, I mean, she won ACC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. She's number 4 in points per game in the NCAA, number 6 in steals in the NCAA, number 2 in points in the ACC, and then number 1 in steals in the ACC.
mhm.
Juju, on the other hand, Big Ten regular season champ, Big Ten Player of the Year, number 2 in points per game in the NCAA, number 1 in points in the Big Ten, number 3 in blocks in the Big Ten, and number 4 in steals in the Big Ten. Um, you can make an argument for both. They both didn't win their conference tournament. They're both regular season champs. They both win Player of the Year. Juju doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, but we got Lauren Betts,
Yeah.
in the Big Ten. So you got to split that award right there because they were both going for Player. You know the thing. So it's kind of like this one's definitely difficult. Um, but if it factors in where it's best player, I mean best. Was that what I say? Best team on the best player on the best team. There we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You would have to give it to USC.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we're going to end up leaning to. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a dumb way of looking at it. I just hate the best player on the best team narrative because, like, in the W, it happens so often where it's like sometimes the best player is that 5th seed, or you know what I'm saying? And it's
Mhm.
like you can't discount what they're doing, kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I agree with you on the point. If this was in the beginning of the season when Hannah Hidalgo was going off, just unstoppable, hands down, 100%, this wouldn't have been an argument. But it's
Mhm.
like she kind of got less efficient at the end, started taking kind of bad shots. Shot selection wasn't
Yeah.
great, and then Juju started peaking more towards the end. Um, I will say Hannah Hidalgo is 46% from the field, while Juju is 42%. But we've seen
We know Juju has to put up. I feel
it's
like more shots
it's
than
like not
Hannah.
running the play. It's giving the ball to Juju and cross your
Yeah,
fingers and good luck out there, kid. You got it.
and get to the basket.
Yeah. Hannah Hidalgo has a little bit more to work with, right? Her starting
Yeah,
five, she got a little bit more, to work with offensively. So I mean, long story short,
I
and it's
think. Well,
ironic I wore
one
this
less
Juju short.
one more thing to add though that could lean Hannah's way is just the fact that Notre Dame did beat USC. So
That's
that
true.
is a factor that they could look at, but I mean, yeah.
That is true.
But yeah, you did wear a Juju shirt.
So I'll have to go with Juju.
Yeah, I feel like I have to lean Juju too.
Yeah, it's crazy because if you look back on our videos, I'm pretty sure we're like Hannah Hidalgo's player of the year. No one's
Yeah.
touching her. It's her year. And then it kind
Yep.
of was like, uh-oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, over to Cheryl Miller Award. Award is presented annually to the best women's college small forward in, NCAA. So the finalists are Michaela Williams, Sonia Citron, Madison Booker, Sarah Strong, and Camille Pierre. Um, this one's kind of tough as well. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have some like pre selections on here that I'm like, I know you're gonna refute. because of our previous conversations. But what names kind of stick out to you that we'll just go off and debate about?
Camille Pierre.
I
Hands
agree,
down. I wish there
but you're
was a
gonna
most
say,
improvement award because.
but you're gonna say that she wasn't on a good enough team.
Yeah, yeah.
But she killed it.
But
Camille
she's
Pierre
one that I have
averaged,
to shout out because.
but she averaged 20 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, 2.2 assists a game, and shot 49% from the field. They did go 8-8 in the SEC and 22-10 overall record.
I know.
But it's like, listen, like she number 4 in points in the SEC, number 2 in rebounds in the SEC, number 2 in steals in the SEC. The fact she wasn't on an all SEC team is just crazy, which concerns me of ruling her, like they're not going to vote for her in this award. She didn't make an all SEC, right? She wasn't first team all SEC, right?
I don't think so, no.
And so that concerns me in the fact that they're not going to vote for her. But I mean, who else is standing out to you?
Sarah Strong.
I know.
Freshman putting up these numbers. Man, I mean, all of them really. I could say great things about all of them, but
I agree with you.
I just feel like, I mean, yeah. I'm debating with my mind here.
Say it out loud.
Well, it's just like I mean, I can't get over the fact that Camille Pierre improved so much from her freshman year to her sophomore year. Although it didn't, translate into the record.
Yeah.
She killed it in a league that is hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, she didn't make an all SEC team. And she led in what, 3?
That's snubbed.
4 categories?
That's a snub right there.
That's crazy work right there. So I don't know because I'll go back to the selection process. So the people that are voting are Hall of Famers, WBCA coaching members, and media. So I mean, it could, I don't know.
So, but I know that was a big deal that she didn't make the.
I know it was. I agree. Yeah.
And sometimes when they make a decision and fans uproar enough about it, they make it up in another way.
I mean, that's true. This one's hard because because Madison Booker wins SEC Player of the Year, which I don't think she should have won. I really think Anissa Morrow should have won SEC Player of the Year, which we've already talked about. Yeah. So I'm not too impressed. I don't think she's my front runner in this category, honestly. If we're talking top 3, it's probably Camille Pierre, Sarah Strong, Michaela Williams. But Sarah Strong shot 57% from the field, and that just really sticks out to me. That's so efficient.
That's what I'm saying.
That's so efficient.
And then it's like, are they gonna take into consideration the Big East? It's so many, so many factors, but that's what I'm saying. Sarah Strong, for a freshman, just entering into college in any conference, that's crazy work.
I don't know. This one, I think, okay, we keep saying it's the hardest category, but no, I genuinely think this might be the hardest category. Because it's like, okay, Camille Pierre, she didn't make any SEC team. She leads in most categories. Michaela Williams had a great year as well. 17.2 points, 4.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 46.1 from the field. You've talked about her as probably one of the more reliable players on LSU. And then Sarah Strong, she leads the Big East in 3 categories as well: rebounds, blocks, and steals at number 2. Freshman of the year, regular season champ, tournament champ. I don't know.
What's the criteria too to determine if there's a small forward or power forward?
The team has to designate it in the beginning of the season. Of the year. Yeah. So I mean,
because I feel like if she was in the power forward, well, no, Anissa Morrow's in there. But yeah, I don't know. Okay,
you gotta pick one, or at least
if I just have to pick one, gotta give it to Camille Pierre. Even though it goes, I know that there's factors that will potentially keep her from getting it. I don't know. I just respect it. That's a huge. She averaged 8.9 points, 5.3 rebounds, 0.7 assists and shot 41.9% from the field goal last year as a freshman. She's only a sophomore and had such a drastic, like.
Wait, who? Camille Pierre or Sarah? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Camille Pierre.
Oh, she's only a sophomore?
Yeah, she's only a sophomore.
Oh.
Vanderbilt is young. Michaela Blake's is a freshman. We're going to be talking about them next year.
Yeah, I know Michaela Blake's. Yeah.
But yeah, she's only a sophomore. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I mean, I look at that as well, like and
the big improvement, the big jump.
She put work in. She had to put work in on the off season. I don't know. It's tough.
This one's
Sarah
hard.
Strong, man,
you know what?
Too. That's not to say I love both of them. Oh my gosh.
I want to go with the narrative that she got snubbed for All SEC and now she's going to win this big award.
They're going to make it up to her. That's where I'm feeling.
I like that selection then.
Nothing against Sarah Strong, but I just feel like that's what they're going to do.
But you know what? I won't be surprised if Michaela Williams or Sarah Strong will end up winning this award as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Agreed. Next. Man, this is taking longer than I thought. We're really debating. Okay. Katrina McClain Award, ROC Power Forward Award. We have Little Paige Bugs, Michaela Timpson, Ejim, Anissa Morrow, Kiki Iriafen. To me.
Dude, I don't care what no one says. Anissa Morrow. This ain't a debate for me. I respect all the other players, but sorry.
And Michaela Timpson, I want to shout her out because I feel like she had a sleeper of a season. 17 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, 1 assist, but it's okay. 54% from the field. She also had a great season. But Anissa Morrow, I think, got snubbed. 18 points a game, 13 rebounds a game, 1.3 assists a game, and then 49% from the field. Also averaging a double-double like Michaela Timpson. She's number 1 in rebounds in the SEC, number 3 in steals in the SEC, and number 1 in rebounds in the NCAA. Okay. Yeah. For me, I know Ejim's has had a good season, just a different conference. She plays in Gonzaga. She did have a great season. She averaged 20 points a game and 8 rebounds on 52% from the field. Mm-hmm. So another good player. But I mean, ACC, SEC conferences, I think this one's our easiest one, Anissa Morrow, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know for us, I mean, Kiki's numbers are good, but her compared to last year, it's not the same Kiki Iriafen. Yeah. So, I mean, for that's out. I love Little Paige Bugs. I think I predicted her, I don't know, something crazy in our preview. But her stats just aren't really comparing with the other three. So, I mean, Anissa Morrow, I mean, we don't have to stay here that long.
Yeah, I mean, y'all can let us know your thoughts on this one, but I'm just biased. I just got to go Nisa. I can't hear anything else right now.
I do want to say Michaela Timpson had a really good season.
Yeah.
They went,
but I mean, every nominee. But
I think hers went unnoticed the most for Florida State because we always talk about Tanaya Latson. Yeah. But Michaela Timpson also had a great season. Okay, Anissa Morrow, you are first unanimous. No, I'm just lying. Yeah, no, I think she deserves it as well. Okay, last award, the Lia Leslie Award for Center of the Year, and I'm gonna be biased. I know. Okay, these are the finalists: Audie Crooks, Reagan Beers, Sedona Prince, Taylor Jones, Lauren Betts. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Audie Crooks has my vote. Now, Megan, you can tell the real votes, but I'm telling you, Audie Crooks had a phenomenal season. 23 points, 7.6 rebounds on 60% from the field. Yeah, I know she plays for Iowa State, people, but okay, go ahead, Megan.
She's efficient. I will give her flowers. She's definitely efficient.
I know she's not going to win the award, but she has my vote.
She has a good chance, but that record.
I know, lame.
But she's. Hey.
You know, it's all going to Lauren Betts. We already know.
And she's a sophomore.
Bro, Audie Crooks is so underrated. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Lauren Betts is going to run away with this one. Reagan Beers, you can, debate her stats, and, she shot 66%. But no one can tell me that Beers had the same season she did last year. I don't care what no one says. Like,
Just the
I
eye
feel like,
test.
I don't, yeah, this is, yeah, for real, because vibes
She
only,
was hurt though for a period in this season, so
I mean, yeah, because
that
it had to
has
been
something to
that,
do with it.
because I just feel like watching her this year compared to last year, to me, just wasn't the same player, although she was putting up very similar
Similar
numbers.
numbers, yeah, similar
I
numbers.
just, vibes wise,
It wasn't the same impact that
yeah,
she had at Oregon
exactly.
State.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah,
It just didn't seem like it had the same impact for the
yeah,
team.
yeah.
But yeah, Lauren Betts, I mean, they
It's
went
going to Lauren
undefeated
Betts.
for how long, and she was able to put up the stats
They
she
have the
did.
best record in
I'm sorry.
NCAA. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just not a lot to debate there.
Yeah, I mean she averaged 19 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 63% from the field. She's number 2 in points in the Big Ten, number 3 in rebounds in the Big Ten, number 1 in blocks in the Big Ten, and number 5 in the NCAA in blocks. Obviously, they were Big Ten tournament champions. They have the best record in NCAA right now, 30-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. They're ranked number 1 overall, so. It's going to Lauren Betts. I think we all know that, but I wanted to shout out Audie Crooks because I always have to every time. Every time. But let us know what you guys think. These awards are hard. And I know you guys' comments are going to defend your favorite player, and I'm probably going to agree with you. Half the time that you guys your comments, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a good point. Like, but it's kind of just like we have these conversations to debate, another point of view. That's why we
Yeah.
do it. So let us know who you guys think are gonna win these 5 awards. We will be coming out with the like the John Wooden Award and all that, but like I said, it's not released until April 1st. Here it is. They're only down to the semifinalists right now, for Defensive Player of the Year and for Player of the Year. So when it gets a little closer, we'll talk about it. But I did want to go over these because the finalist lists are now out. And fan voting. Remember, you guys can vote. Fan votes do count for this award as well. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. We appreciate your guys' support so much. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. We'll appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.